So I want you to just close your eyes for a second.
Okay.
Imagine your life is the absolute definition of the American suburban dream.
Right.
And I don't mean the flashy kind.
Mm.
Not the reality TV mansion with a pool kind of dream.
Just the normal one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The comfortable, safe, maybe even a little boring kind of dream.
Right.
You're driving a sensible minivan.
A reliable car.
Right. You've got 2 kids in the back seat.
Right.
Maybe they're, arguing over who gets to control the music.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just zoning out with their headphones on.
Just a standard Tuesday afternoon.
Exactly. And you're thinking about dinner. Maybe it's liver and onions night because your husband loves it.
Even if you hate the smell.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're making sacrifices. You're thinking about that husband. He's charming. He's handy around the house. He's the kind of guy who spends his weekends out in the detached garage building custom furniture.
It's the picture of stability. I mean, it's the exact narrative we're all taught to aspire to,
Sure.
Safe, predictable, secure. A life where your absolute biggest stress is like being 20 minutes late for school pickup.
Exactly. And then in the time it takes for a drunk driver to just blow through a stop sign, that life doesn't just get disrupted.
Yeah.
It gets incinerated.
Yeah.
You pull onto your street, and there are police lights everywhere. A car has just smashed right through your garage door.
Complete chaos.
And the wall comes down. And in that wreckage, you realize that the person you sleep next to every single night.
The father of your children.
Yeah, the man you've built your entire existence around. You realize he is a monster.
Like, literal monster.
And I don't mean, oh, he's having a secret affair. I mean, he is a literal skinning women alive serial killer.
It is the terrifying premise of The Unknowing Spouse.
Yes.
It forces every single listener to ask themselves the most uncomfortable question imaginable.
Which is?
How well do you really know the person sitting across the dinner table from you?
Woof.
Right? Like, can you ever truly know another human being?
And that is exactly the dark, terrifying place where we are living today. We are going deep, and I mean to the absolute bottom of the murky lake, deep into the psychological thrillers Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Caine.
This is such a fascinating text to deconstruct. I mean, Rachel Caine is a massive name in the publishing world. She's a New York Times bestseller.
Right, but for a long time, she was primarily known for young adult fiction.
Young adult and urban fantasy, yeah. If you know her work, you probably know the Morganville Vampire series or The Great Library.
Which, I have to admit, usually makes me a little nervous.
How so?
Well, when an author jumps from, sparkly vampires and magic systems to a gritty, realistic serial killer thriller.
It can feel clunky.
Exactly. It's a totally different muscle. But reading through this source material, that fantasy background actually seems to help her here.
It really does, because fantasy is fundamentally about world building. You have to create a set of rules and an atmosphere that feels completely immersive to the reader. In Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Caine, she builds a world of absolute paranoia. She shifts from supernatural monsters to human ones.
And the human ones are way scarier.
Infinitely scarier because they're real.
Right.
And our mission for this deep dive isn't just to recap a scary story. We really need to analyze the psychology of a survivor. We're going to look at the weaponization of the internet, which plays a massive role here, and really dig into the concept of identity in the digital age.
The pacing in this book is just relentless.
Oh,
it is an absolutely breathless read. But before we get to the gunfights and the high-speed chases, we have to understand the inciting incident.
We have to start at the beginning.
Right. We have to understand the death of a woman named Gina Royal.
And that distinction is vital right from the jump. The book presents us with 2 women who basically inhabit the same body.
Yeah.
Gina Royal is the victim. Gwen Proctor is the survivor. You cannot have one without the death of the other. It's this metamorphosis born entirely of trauma.
So let's go back to Wichita, Kansas. Let's paint the picture of Gina Royal. Based on the text, she almost seems frustratingly passive.
Oh, completely.
She's the definition of a stand-by-your-man kind of wife, but to an extreme degree.
She is. And she describes herself later in the book as weak, submissive, a pleaser. She's created this perfectly curated bubble of domesticity just to keep the peace.
Right. She's the wife who, worries about being 30 minutes late because it might upset her husband's rigid schedule.
Exactly. She views her husband, Melvin Royal, as the best, most charming man. She has completely bought into the mask he wears.
It's the banality of evil, isn't it? She's
Yeah.
planning to cook liver and onions, which is his favorite meal,
Yeah.
even though she probably hates the smell of it.
She's stressed about traffic.
Right. It's so mundane, it's just so normal.
Until she turns onto her street.
And sees the flashing lights.
Sirens everywhere. A drunk driver has slammed an SUV directly into their house.
Specifically right into the garage.
Now, if you look at Gina's hierarchy of needs in that exact moment, it tells you everything you need to know about her psychological state.
How so?
Well, she isn't thinking, is anyone hurt? She isn't thinking about crime scenes or the drunk driver.
No, she's thinking,
oh no, Mel's workshop.
yes. Because he's gaslit her for years. He's told her, don't go in there, honey. It's dangerous. I have expensive tools. It's not safe for the kids.
Which is a perfect cover.
It really is.
It gives him complete plausible deniability. Any woodworking hobbyist is going to have dangerous saws, sharp blades, toxic chemicals.
Right, it makes total sense to keep the kids out.
But when she arrives at the house, the atmosphere is just wrong.
Yeah, the police aren't treating her like a homeowner who just had her wall smashed in.
Not at all. The officer has his hand resting on his weapon. They are hostile immediately.
This scene is so visceral in the source material. Detective Salazar takes her to the garage. The wall is smashed, completely open.
And hanging from a winch in the center of the room?
Gina sees something. Her brain just tries to protect her. She genuinely thinks it's a doll.
Which is a classic psychological defense mechanism. It's called dissociation.
Right.
The mind literally refuses to process visual data that contradicts its core reality.
It just rejects it.
It cannot compute the concept of dead body in my husband's garage, so it substitutes the next closest visual match.
A doll.
Exactly. She sees a life-size figure. It's painted this horrific purple-black color. It's flayed, the eyes are bulbous.
And she's just standing there wondering, why would Mel have a weird, gross doll? Like, why is it painted that way?
And then the smell hits her.
Oh, man.
And the reality just crashes in. It's not a doll, it's a young woman.
Skinned, suspended from the ceiling.
And the realization that follows is the one that permanently breaks her.
The proximity.
Yes. While she was in the living room playing Candyland or Monopoly with her children, her husband was 10 feet away.
Behind a locked door.
Doing that. He was actively torturing women while his family laughed and played board games in the next room.
God, that proximity is what just ruins her life. And it's not just the trauma of the discovery itself, but the public perception afterward.
The fallout is massive.
The source material highlights this so heavily. The police, the media, the general public, they simply do not believe her.
They call her Melvin's little helter.
Yes. It's such a scathing critique of how society views women in these scenarios.
We always assume a wife must know. We think, how could you possibly sleep next to a monster and not feel the scales?
All right.
It strips her of her own victimhood and just recasts her as a co-conspirator. She was actually arrested.
She was tried as an accomplice.
And even though she was acquitted because there was zero physical evidence linking her to any of the crimes, she literally didn't know anything about it.
But it doesn't matter.
Not in the court of public opinion. And specifically on the internet, she is guilty. She's a monster by association.
Which necessitates the death of Gina Royal.
Exactly. She realizes that Gina cannot keep her children safe. Gina is a target. Gina is a pariah.
So she takes drastic measures.
Very drastic. She legally changes her name. She changes the kids' names. She moves constantly, never staying in one place for more than a few months.
Gina Royal dies in that garage, and Gwen Proctor is born on the road.
A completely new identity.
So let's jump forward. It's 4 years later. We are now in Stillhouse Lake, Tennessee.
A long way from Kansas.
And Gwen Proctor. She is not baking liver and onions. She is a completely different animal now.
The psychological shift is just profound. Gwen is defined entirely by hypervigilance.
Yeah.
In clinical terms, she is in a constant state of physiological arousal. She's always scanning for threats, checking exits, assessing strangers.
But the book asks a very poignant question here.
Is it paranoia if they are actually out to get you?
Right, because they really are. And we see this new vigilance immediately at the gun range.
This is one of our first real introductions to the new Gwen.
She's training with an instructor, Javier Esparza. He goes by Javi. And she mentions a detail that honestly gave me chills.
The blink reflex.
Yes. She doesn't blink when she fires a .357 Magnum.
That detail is such crucial imagery. It's a metaphor for her entire existence now.
How so?
Well, think about Gina Royal. She closed her eyes. She looked away from the locked door. She didn't want to see the ugly truth.
Right.
But Gwen Proctor forces her eyes open. She flat out refuses to flinch at the violence of the world anymore. She stares right into the muzzle flash.
That's a great point. And there's a confrontation at the range that really establishes her dominance.
With Carl Getz.
Yes, he's your standard, aggressive, completely unsafe gun owner. He's waving his piece around, acting tough, clearly trying to compensate for something.
And Javi calls him out on his safety violations.
It just gets totally belligerent.
Now look at Gwen's internal monologue in the text during this scene.
That's so cold.
She isn't scared of him. She isn't wondering if she should call the police or hide.
No, she's calculating the kill shot.
Exactly. She is zipping her range bag, gripping her weapon, and assessing that she can draw and fire before he can even bring his gun to bear.
That is definitely not the thought process of a suburban mom.
That is the thought process of a soldier trapped in enemy territory.
Fortunately, she doesn't have to shoot him. A stranger steps in to de-escalate the whole thing.
Sam Cade?
Yes, Sam Cade. But let's put a pin in him for a moment, because we really need to talk about the collateral damage of Melvin Royal's actions.
The kids.
The kids. This is where the book really shines for me, and where Caine's writing feels incredibly grounded.
She doesn't just treat the kids as luggage or convenient plot devices.
No, they are distinct characters with their own very specific trauma responses. They aren't Brady and Lily anymore. They are Connor and Lanny.
Let's start with Lanny. She was 10 when the arrest happened.
And she's 14 now. And she is difficult.
She's arguably the most tragic figure in the whole book.
Yeah.
She remembers the before times vividly. She remembers her dad as this loving father who played games with her and doted on her.
And now she's 14, hormones are raging, she's dealing with complex PTSD, and she's living life on the run.
So she's adopted this intense defensive armor. The goth makeup, the all-black clothes, the aggressive attitude.
She actually calls their new names prisoner names.
That line is so telling.
It hit me really hard. Prisoner names. Because from her perspective, they aren't hiding for safety.
No, they're hiding because they are being punished for something they didn't even do.
Exactly. She gets into fights at school. She constantly pushes Gwen away.
It's classic psychological displacement.
Right, because she can't be angry at her serial killer father. He isn't there.
And she has these incredibly confusing memories of loving him.
So she takes all of that rage out on the mother who dragged her away from her life. The mother who represents the harsh reality of their situation.
And then there's Connor. He was younger, only 7 at the time of the arrest.
His trauma is much quieter. It's more internalized. He's anxious. He's clingy.
And he has this intense obsession with the zombie apocalypse.
Which is such a fascinating coping mechanism.
Psychologically speaking, children often externalize abstract fears into concrete monsters.
That makes total sense.
The idea that daddy kills women or that strangers on the internet want to hunt us down, that is way too complex and horrific for a kid to process.
But zombies.
Zombies have rules.
Right.
Zombies are slow. If you board up the windows, stock up on water, and aim for the head, you can survive a zombie.
It gives him a sense of agency.
Yeah.
It gives him control in a world that is otherwise completely chaotic.
And Gwen leans into it.
She really does.
Oh.
She doesn't tell him, zombies aren't real, honey, stop worrying.
Not at all. Their house in Stillhouse Lake, which is this fixer-upper cabin she bought for cash, it has an actual panic room.
But they don't call it a panic room.
No, they call it the zombie apocalypse bug-out shelter.
It's just brilliant dark parenting.
She is normalizing their security protocols. By making it a game, she reduces the sheer terror of it while ensuring they know exactly what to do when the bad guys come.
Not if, but when.
Exactly. It allows Connor to participate in his own safety without being paralyzed by the horrific reality of who they're actually running from.
But the bad guys aren't just physical anymore, are they? We have to talk about the Sicko Patrol.
The internet is practically the third villain in this book.
It's an omnipresent threat.
Gwen is constantly being hunted by online vigilantes, trolls, and true crime obsessives who are absolutely convinced she got away with murder.
They have dedicated forums, they have tracking threads, they're constantly analyzing background details and photos just looking for her.
And to combat this, she has an ally who is also entirely digital.
Absalom.
Absalom is a hacker. Gwen pays him a very significant amount of money to scrub their digital footprint.
He alerts her if anyone is searching for the name Gina Royal anywhere near her current location.
But notice the origin story here.
Oh, right.
Absalom actually started out as a troll. He was one of the people attacking her online.
And she confronted him. She basically threatened him and then hired him.
It just shows Gwen's incredible resourcefulness. She takes the very weapon that was used against her and turns it into her shield.
So she's got the gun, she's got the panic room, she's got the hacker on payroll, and she has this isolated house on the lake.
She's genuinely trying to put down roots. She even paints Connor's room.
She thinks, maybe this time we stay. Maybe Stillhouse Lake is the place where we finally stop running.
And in the grammar of the thriller genre, the exact moment the protagonist thinks we are safe is the exact moment the floor drops out.
Enter the body.
Stillhouse Lake itself is almost a character in the story. It's incredibly atmospheric.
Dark water, isolated cabins. It's economically depressed.
It is the absolute perfect hiding spot. And consequently,
The perfect dumping ground.
a body surfaces in the lake.
A young woman, weighed down with concrete blocks.
We really need to be clear here. This isn't just some random murder in a bad part of town.
No, this is Melvin Royal's signature MO.
Melvin called it his garden. He always sank his victims in water to hide them.
So when this body appears, Gwen's entire world just tilts on its axis.
She has to wonder, is it a coincidence? Is it a copycat? Or is Melvin Royal actually reaching out from inside Supermax prison just to taunt her?
The local police are involved immediately, of course, and we get this classic good cop, bad cop dynamic, but with a slight twist.
We have Detective Prester.
Right. Prester is highly suspicious and very aggressive right out of the gate.
And then we have Officer Lancel Graham.
Graham is the good old boy. He's local, friendly, very sympathetic.
He seems to be the only one who treats Gwen like an actual human being rather than an immediate suspect.
He apologizes for his partner's aggression. He just seems like a tired dad trying to do his job.
But the suspicion from the rest of the department is incredibly heavy.
Because look at the facts. Gwen is the ex-wife of a notorious serial killer who used this exact method.
She lives right there on the lake.
And then Lanny makes a massive, massive mistake.
Lanny tells the police she saw something.
Why did she do that?
She places herself as a witness. She claims she saw a boat and heard a splash late at night.
And Gwen is just terrified. Her immediate instinct is to run. The go bag is literally packed and sitting by the door.
She's ready to burn this new identity, grab the emergency catch, and just move again.
But she stops. She looks at her kids.
They are just exhausted.
They are finally starting to have some semblance of a normal life. Connor has a set routine. Lanny has a safe space to just be angry.
And Gwen makes the decision that essentially drives the rest of the narrative.
She says, we stay.
It is a massive act of defiance. It's Gwen finally saying, I am done letting Melvin Royal dictate where I live and how I live.
But that decision also traps them right in the crosshairs.
While this pressure cooker is building, you've got the police outside, the trolls online, we have the neighbor.
Sam Cade.
Sam Cade is the enigma of the story.
He's the guy from the gun range, right? The one who stepped in to help with Carl Getz.
Yes. He lives up the hill in a cabin. He's rugged, handsome, he can fix a roof, and he apparently makes excellent pancakes.
He checks every single box for romantic interest in a thriller.
And Gwen, who has been completely starved of intimacy and trust for 4 years, starts to let her guard down.
It's not immediate, though. She fights it.
She does, but he helps Connor when Connor gets bullied at school. He treats Lanny with genuine respect, but he doesn't take her crap.
He just feels safe.
It's a very slow burn. Gwen tries to resist it, but the human need for connection is just incredibly powerful.
You can only be a soldier on high alert for so long before you crave just one moment of peace.
So she decides to take a massive risk.
She sits him down on the porch. The atmosphere is so heavy in this scene, and she tells him the absolute truth.
I'm not Gwen Proctor, I'm Gina Royal.
The listener's just holding their breath here, like, is he going to run? Is he going to call the cops? Is he going to scream at her?
But his reaction is very strange.
Yeah, he just goes quiet.
He processes it, he doesn't run away, he doesn't yell.
But shortly after that porch confession, the police reveal to Gwen that Sam is a person of interest.
And here comes the first major twist of the book.
Gwen confronts him, and the entire facade just crumbles. Sam Cade isn't just a random nice neighbor who happened to buy the cabin up the hill.
Not at all. He is the brother of Callie.
Callie was one of Melvin's victims.
Specifically, she was the doll that Gwen found hanging in the garage.
This completely recontextualizes everything.
He didn't just stumble upon Gwen. He hunted her down.
She stalked her.
He tracked her across the entire country through all her various name changes, all the way to Stillhouse Lake.
So all those nice breakfasts, The bonding with Connor, fixing the roof.
None of it was kindness, it was surveillance.
He came there because he fully believed the internet narrative.
He believed that Gina was an accomplice. He wanted to expose her. He wanted to ruin her life. He wanted revenge for his murdered sister.
Gwen is absolutely gutted. It is a betrayal on a cellular level.
The one person she finally trusted, the one person she let into her incredibly guarded safe zone, was actually her enemy the whole time.
And this is the pivot that makes the character dynamic so interesting. He didn't kill her.
No, he didn't expose her immediately either. He just watched.
And by watching, he learned the truth.
He realized that his entire premise was wrong. She wasn't a monster. She was just a desperate mother trying to protect her cubs.
He saw her night terrors. He saw her constant fear.
He admits he came for revenge, but he claims he stopped because he realized she is innocent.
But Gwen isn't hearing it.
Yeah.
And honestly, why should she? She feels totally exposed.
And she really is exposed because right at this exact moment, the internet absolutely explodes.
A post goes up on a popular true crime forum, and it says in all caps, "Bitch is hiding out in the volunteer state."
The location is completely blown.
And then Absalom, her trusted hacker, sends her a text message.
Did you do it?
That part is so crushing. Even her paid ally, the guy whose literal job it is to protect her, doubts her innocence because of the new bodies in the lake.
And speaking of, a second body appears.
Right off her dock.
Another young girl dead in the lake.
This is pure, unadulterated escalation.
The killer isn't just dumping bodies randomly anymore. He is actively framing Gwen.
He is placing the bodies intimately close to her property to force the police's hand, and the police descend hard. Gwen is hauled in for interrogation. This scene is brutal.
Detective Prester is just grilling her. He's throwing photos of the dead girls on the table, trying to crack her.
It's psychological torture. They're using her survivor's guilt against her.
Not guilt for these new crimes, but the deep guilt she carries for not saving Melvin's victims all those years ago.
They are just trying to make her break. But amidst all this hostility, we finally meet Officer Kezia Claremont.
I love Kezia. She is the perfect counterbalance in this department.
She's an African-American officer in a very white, very insular, good old boy town.
She's an outsider, just like Gwen.
And because she's an outsider, she doesn't buy into the department's groupthink.
She looks at the actual evidence. She notices that the framing is just a little too perfect.
She sees that Gwen is being completely railroaded.
She represents the critical thinking that the mob entirely lacks. She's the only one asking, does this actually make sense, or is it just what we all want to believe?
Gwen is eventually released because they just don't have enough physical evidence to hold her.
So she rushes home. She is exhausted. She's battered.
She just wants to grab the kids, trigger the zombie apocalypse protocol, and run for real this time.
She walks into the house.
And it's completely silent.
And that silence is the loudest thing in the world for a mother.
She runs to the garage. Blood. Just fresh blood.
She sprints to the zombie apocalypse shelter, the panic room.
Empty.
The nightmare has finally arrived. The kids are gone.
She's frantic. She thinks Sam took them. She thinks maybe the police took them.
She joins the local search party out in the woods, absolutely desperate, and this is exactly where the trap snaps shut.
Officer Lancel Graham. Remember him.
The nice one. The sympathetic good old boy who apologized for his partner being so mean.
He offers to drive her. He plays the sympathetic dad card perfectly. He says, you know, I get it. Let's go find them together. Hop in.
He's driving her in his police SUV. It's pouring rain. The roads are muddy. The tension in the book right now is incredibly high.
Gwen reaches into the backseat to grab a coat or just move something out of the way.
And her hand touches something sticky.
The smell hits her immediately. Copper. Iron.
Blood.
In that split second, all the pieces click together. Lancel Graham isn't just a friendly local cop.
He is the killer. The call is coming from inside the car.
Gwen realizes she is strapped into a moving vehicle with the very man who has been killing these women and framing her.
And infinitely worse, he has her children.
The confrontation is just immediate and violently chaotic.
She doesn't ask him to pull over. She doesn't plead for her life.
No, she attacked him. It's a primal, vicious struggle for survival inside a moving SUV on a slick mountain road.
She bails out. She literally throws herself out of the moving car into the mud and the freezing rain.
She's injured, she's terrified, and then she checks her phone or starts putting the digital pieces together.
And we get the second massive betrayal.
The Absalom betrayal. This one stings because it's so incredibly calculated.
She realizes that Absalom, the hacker she paid, the one who's supposed to be her absolute digital shield.
with feeding her location and information straight to Graham.
And by extension, to Melvin Royal. The implication here is just terrifying.
This isn't just a lone copycat acting out.
No, this is a network. Melvin Royal, from inside a maximum security prison, has actively cultivated a following.
Graham is an acolyte. He's a literal fanboy of a serial killer.
It connects right back to the Sicko Patrol. Melvin has fans.
And Graham is basically the president of the local fan club. He's carrying out Melvin's dark work while Melvin sits safely in a cell.
It creates this horrifying Hydra-like monster. You cut off the head, Melvin is in jail, but another head just grows in Stillhouse Lake.
The internet completely facilitates this connection. It turns serial killing into a twisted franchise.
So Gwen is alone on the mountain. She's injured. She's being hunted.
But she manages to connect with the only two people left who might actually help her. Sam and Kezia.
The enemy of my friend. Sam, despite the stalking and the lying, really does love those kids.
He gets a bit of a redemptive arc here. He realizes that saving the children of the monster is the only real way to heal from what the monster did to his sister.
And Kezia is just a genuinely good cop who realizes her own partner is a serial killer. They figure out that Graham has taken the kids up to his family's old hunting cabin on the mountain.
So they trek up there. It's a highly tactical approach. It feels like an action movie finale.
But when they finally breach the cabin, they find something incredible.
They don't really have to save the kids. Not entirely, anyway.
Because Lanny is her mother's daughter.
Throughout the entire book, Lanny has been angry, difficult, rebellious. He's been a massive thorn in Gwen's side.
But in that cabin, that anger becomes a weapon.
Graham wasn't working alone. He had his sons up there helping him.
This is honestly the darkest part of the book for me. He was actively grooming his own children to be killers. He was continuing that horrific cycle of generational abuse and violence.
But Lanny fought back. She didn't cower in the corner.
She grabbed a weapon. She stabbed one of her captors.
She used the zombie apocalypse drills they practiced for years to get Connor securely into a trapdoor area.
It completely validates Gwen's entire paranoid parenting strategy.
She didn't raise victims. She raised survivors.
All those crazy drills, all that hypervigilance, it literally saved their lives.
It's a very powerful moment. The rescue team arrives. Absolute chaos ensues. Graham is finally incapacitated, and the kids are secure.
But the book doesn't just end with a warm hug and a freeze frame.
No. The trauma is massively compounded. Gwen and Sam have this very tentative, broken truce.
He helped save her kids, but he still stalked her for months.
And she helped save his life up there, but she's still the woman he hated for years.
It's messy, and that's what makes it feel real. Trauma doesn't just resolve neatly because the bad guy is in handcuffs.
So let's sort of zoom out for a second. What are the big thematic takeaways here? For me, the central theme is absolutely identity.
Oh, absolutely. Gwen is constantly constructing a new self. A new name, new hair color, new colored contact lenses.
But the world just keeps dragging her right back to being Gina Royal.
It asks a really tough question. Can you ever truly escape your past? Or does the internet ensure that your past is just always your present?
Right, like can you ever really delete your history in the digital age?
Probably not. And then there's the theme of nature versus nurture.
Gwen is terrified that her kids have bad blood.
When Lanny stabs that guy in the cabin, Gwen is incredibly relieved because they survived, but she's also secretly terrified.
Is that a healthy survival instinct? Or is that Melvin Royal's inherent violence manifesting in the next generation?
That ambiguity is really what drives the lingering horror of the story.
And we also have the illusion of normalcy.
Melvin hid in plain sight in the suburbs. Graham hid right behind a police badge.
It really teaches you that you cannot trust the facade. The nice neighbor who makes you pancakes.
He's stalking you.
The helpful, sympathetic cop who gives you a ride in the rain.
He's the killer.
It creates a literary world where trust is an absolute liability.
It challenges the listener to look at their own life and ask, what am I not seeing? Who am I not seeing clearly?
And finally, the ending. The cliffhanger. Graham is caught. The immediate physical threat is over. But
Melvin Royal is still in prison. He's writing letters. He's making phone calls.
the Stillhouse Lake ordeal was really just one skirmish. The war is still going on.
He knows exactly where she is now, and he knows she fought back.
It leaves you with this deep sense of unease. You can lock the door, you can set the alarm system, but the monster might already be inside the wire.
The network is out there.
It's a true masterclass in the psychology of survival. Resilience isn't about just bouncing back to who you used to be.
You can never go back to being Gina Royal.
No. It's about forging a harder, sharper version of yourself, Gwen Proctor, just to survive whatever comes next.
I think that's the core message.
I tell you what, I will never look at a suburban garage the same way again, and definitely not a doll.
If you want the full experience, the sensory details, the smell of the lake water, the sheer visceral terror of that SUV ride, you really have to read Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Caine.
We've given you the map today, but you need to walk the path yourself. There are so many nuances in the prose that we just can't fully convey in an audio deep dive.
Just, maybe don't read it alone in a cabin in the woods.
Or while your husband is working out in the garage.
Solid advice.
Keep your lights on, check your locks, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.
Stay safe out there.